Hello friends, how are you? You know that 3 movies of Doctor Strange have been announced. I wanted to make a deep analysis about Doctor Strange, and let's see what we know. I plan to make this video in 2 parts. If you like it, we can continue it as a series. First of all, I have to say that I didn't like Doctor Strange much until the first movie came out. But after the movie I became a fan and read the comics and I liked it so much. Let's start then. We have the greatest magician, who is an expert in mystical sciences with the training he received from the ancient teacher called the Ancient One, and who has made secret teachings such as verbal spells and talismans his most powerful features. But the most basic feature of his powers beyond the limits is that he is the one worthy of using the Eye of Agamotto, one of the 3 parts of a divine being named Vishanti, and this is no accident. It has interesting features such as being able to pass through walls, being almost invisible, transferring a being to another dimension, telepathy, telekinesis and teleportation. But if these are not interesting, you can control time, travel between dimensions, astral travel, being free from fear, universal consciousness. I can list countless features such as hypnosis and shielding. Of course, there's also flying. There's even a cool piece in her costume that breaks with gravity and is simply called the levitation cloak. Also, let's not forget that he trained in martial arts apart from the occult teachings, which is one of the indispensable conditions. Let's talk a little bit about youth life and his career as a doctor. With his admission to Columbian University and his work at New York Presbyterian Hospital, he became a wealthy neurosurgeon with a great reputation, and although he was a man with miracle hands who meticulously performed nervous system surgeries, he was accompanied by more money than his patients paid. He became a self-important, self-righteous person. His only interest among his patients was a woman named Madeline, and when his love for her and his desire to marry could not prevent his arrogant and materialistic attitude, abandoned. But all of this must have had a huge impact on the beings that haunted him since his childhood. While being the Sorcerer Supreme, the highest order sorcerer, was the rank desired by all apprentices trained in this subject, it was already destined that the next Sorcerer Supreme would be Strange. This task was then in the hands of Yao, a master of ancient magic, and Strange was already haunted by various demons from the age of 8, when his student Carl Mordo learned that a boy in America was the chosen one. While Stephen has suffered enough in his life, a car accident at the age of 33 destroyed his focused career. Although his life was spared, the nerves in his hands were destroyed and the only thing he held onto in life had left him. When his career was over, although he invested all his money in different treatment methods and alcohol, he believed that he could find the cure in Tibet. He witnessed Mordo sneak up on his master. Although his master was strong enough to dodge such attacks, Strange wanted to warn this man, but Mordo's spells prevented him. But this magical world he stepped into was the first of many steps that made him change. Knowing that he would already be successful, the Ancient One had already taken him with him and started training him, making him able to interact with powerful beings like Dormammu, Satanish, and Vishanti years later. Dr. Strange, who successfully passed a test in which death also subjected his master 600 years ago, was rewarded with a life in which he did not age, and also gained the shape of an ankh that would appear on his forehead when his life was in danger. While Steve Ditko and Stan Lee were considering a new character to add a new dimension to the Marvel Universe, they were heavily inspired by the 1930s radio show, The Wizard Chandu. While creating the character, Vincent Price's appearance was the biggest factor, which is exactly why the Doctor's middle name is Vincent. Returning to America after his education and starting to hang out in the Sanctorum, the holy place of the holy, Strange has met wizards all over the world and has already established his own network. But while fantastic events are happening, a Spider-Man knocking on his door and asking for wisdom has become an ordinary day for him. With his friend and assistant Wong, he was in a position to provide mystical counseling for every unusual situation and revealed that different evil beings were living and continued to work to cleanse the world of them. Once he couldn't get rid of Loki's control and fought Thor, he started to get involved with superheroes, and the first of the names he worked with for a long time was Spider-Man. Later, he was a constant consultant for the Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Avengers, and they formed the secret formation called the Illuminati, with the leading names of these heroes. Although the Illuminati is an organization that tries to take the right decision for situations that affect the whole world, they were also the ones who came up with and implemented ideas such as sending the Hulk to another planet. The hammer broke when Thor struck his grandfather Bor with the famous hammer Mjolnir. Thorin, who was punished for lifting a hammer to his grandfather, asked for help from Doctor Strange, and when Strange took Thor's Odin power and transferred it to a Mjolnir, he was able to repair Thor and his hammer as an inseparable whole. We can say that LSD, that is acid, that is, drugs, is a secret part of Doctor Strange's world. Steve Ditko knew that this type of drug, whose use increased in the second half of the 60s, made people dream of colorful dreams, and all of Strange's travels attracted a lot of attention among these people. He also realized that he was going to shoot it, and he was right. A book published in 2012 also admitted that writers and illustrators working on this comic book at Marvel in the 70s often used LSD. Of course, everyone in those years was able to use them in a good way, just as the Beatles were able to carry the music forward at least 15 years during the transition from the colorless period to the colorful period thanks to LSD. The 110th issue of the Strange Tales series, the comic novel in which Strange was first introduced, sold for $61,000. Yes, let's wrap up the topic by mentioning the time Doctor Strange left his post in shame. Sent to another planet by the Illuminati, the Hulk began to hunt everyone one by one when he returned to Earth, and the Doctor was able to get away for a while, but this lasted until the Hulk shattered all the bones in his hands and rendered him incapable of using magic. Although the Doctor returns much stronger, he has again unleashed an uncontrolled dark power that has allowed him to irresponsibly endanger the lives of innocent people and his own friends. Returning, if only for a moment, to his arrogant and selfish days, our sorcerer has now given up on his sacred duty. He was left with broken hands and then he recovered himself again, but it's been a long time and this will be the subject of another video. So many friends from me. What do you think? Don't forget to specify in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't forget to subscribe and like. See you in other videos.